What's up, guys? Everyone, welcome to the very first episode of the Undead Zone, the maiden voyage. Wow, I can't fucking talk already. We're just laughing at how we're gonna fuck up this show. Maiden voyage of the Undead show, guys. This is H1Z1. If you're used to the meta show, pretty much like similar format, and we're just gonna roll into it. A lot of things what we're doing in H1Z1, and if you can see the screen, we have a number of hosts, and you see the big picture of DBRB. Since he doesn't have a webcam, he doesn't fit in the webcam screen, so we had to get a picture.
Oh my! Yeah, this is going to end well. I love it. I think we've got a very creative name for the show, and I'm wearing a blue shirt just to try to shake things up. And
so red for Eve and blue for H1Z1.
H1Z1, exactly. Well, I mean, it's true actually, because on the Alistair base and one of the main Imperial outposts that we have in H1Z1, the dress code is blue.
That's
if
true.
You're not wearing blue helmets and blue whatever, then you get shot. So.
But guys, just to do a short introduction of who we have myself, Laz. Then next to myself on the cam is the Mittani, or Mittens, for Mittens Kittens, and Mittens Kittens. And
our lovely subscribers. That's true.
Yep, everyone make sure we get some emote spam there in chat for that. And then we have next to him Space Mexican, and next show hopefully we'll have dabigredboat on his camera in his admiral costume.
Admiral over the overhead. Yes, I have it too.
It's going to be, you're going to get a chance to see a lot more of Boat because we are terrible human beings and we hate humanity. And so as a result, we're giving Boat his own show, which is almost as creatively named as the Undead Zone. We spent a lot of time and effort in coming up with that. There were focus groups. We spent many hours, and that's how we came up with such a sparkling and creative name. And Boat's show is even better named. We're calling it The Boat Show.
Wow. Wow. Very Boat. Much wow, very Boat.
Basically, at this point, we're gonna point a camera at Boat and let him run around. There's a video. I don't know whether we can actually play it on the Undead Zone or not, but there's a hilarious video that Boat made just being Boat of him like executing a guy with a firing squad of naked men in underwear using bows. And Boat is just sitting there cackling, giving that little giggle that he is right now, going, naked men, shoot him with your arrows, naked men. And I figure at that point we should just point a camera at Boat and turn him loose and see what he does.
We'll just roll with it.
So that'll be the Boat Show.
So guys, if we get banned off of Twitch in the next couple of weeks, it's because of the Boat Show. Just to throw that out there now, it's going to happen. And before we
be like the Kardashians of gaming in terms of, I'm not sure which Kardashian. I can't tell them apart anymore. But I'm sure he'll be one of them.
Man.
Yeah, but before we get into the thick of H1Z1, I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to the website, themittani.com. We're doing a H1Z1 screenshot contest, and I believe there's a short amount of time left on that. And if you have the best screenshot submitted to the website, then you win a $50 Steam gift card, which would be really useful because in the month of June or July, Steam always has those big game sales. So that $50 Steam gift card is going to be pretty useful then. So you can add to the hundreds of games you already have and don't play.
the dreaded Steam backlog.
But it was only $2.
Or you can be like really clever and do what we've been doing recently and starting to use like alt accounts in H1Z1 as mules. Which is that secret sauce? Can we talk about our mules, or is that something that we don't want to talk about?
I think that's okay. I don't think it's in the EULA where we can't talk about it.
No, I mean it's not like illegal. It's not like that in the game, but I don't really know whether it's like a secret kind of thing.
I think a lot of people in the game do it, but I don't think they do it as organized as we do.
That's a common problem.
Yes, that's our main I guess byline for us is we do it better than everyone else. Sorry guys, I'm gonna log in. Let me go log into Eve and Wealth of Superfleet real quick.
Yeah,
this hubris.
Really good. We're like elite FPS people. No, it is interesting actually. This is just kind of a weird thing that I've noticed. Like going from Eve into H1Z1, like in terms of the sandbox gameplay, the PvP with full loot, the griefing potential. There's a lot of commonality. But probably the single strangest thing that I found from playing H1Z1 is just the fact that people cry so much. Like I think it's like the FPS culture or something, like the Call of Duty crew or whatever. But like when you kill a guy in Eve or when you win something, everybody like has this massive act that we put on to show how little we care, right? Like in Eve, like you lose a region, you lose a battle. It's like, oh, I don't care. It was just a thing. It happened. I'm not really kerfluffed about it because, you know, people have been harvesting tears in Eve for so long that like people try to not show that they care. And in H1Z1, you kill somebody, and then they sit there on their corpse on proximity chat, just like screaming at you, and just acting like little babies or something. So it's like an untapped salt mine or something. It's nuts. It's like they never learned how to disguise when they're angry. It's a whole new world.
Well, they're not used to it.
So we could go right into talking about the new Charles Manson on Abomination named Meyer 206. He has a following of like women and little kids. The little kids call him Grandpa Meyer, and the women are white knighted for it. They both sound like they come from the deep south of Mexico and really transitioned to a modern society. And so just their combination of
I resent that. Their
combinations. Their combinations.
The boat show is going to be a disaster already. You're not even on the boat show. Like, you managed to like slander some group of perfectly innocent, nice families.
Well, no, it's.
I'm sure they're very nice.
But the women, it's great. When the women of their group die, they go really ghetto on us and start like throwing racial slurs and gang signs.
Oh my god!
While the little kids are like, "Grandpa Meyer,
I want to. I really want to. No, that's serious. Like I can't laugh about it because it's true. Because it's completely true. This is legit happening on Abomination at the dam.
So this guy was
like
streaming named Dewey, and he was like the white knight for the women. And then you had the Meyer guy who was picking up kids, and like as a new kid would run by, you'd hear the kid's like high pitched voice, and Meyer's like, "Come join us, little kid. We have more kids over here."
You know, it's funny. It's funny because on Abomination, I'm glad we started because now I can let go what I've been screaming about. So I had a character on there named Avocado Killer, and I infiltrated that group, and I ran around their base for about 3 hours as they argued back and forth in local. And they would argue. I would just run around stealing their shit out of the crates, and they'd get into fights amongst each other, and they would fight over like a 308 rounds and a bow and arrow and some arrows, and you get these young kids getting on there going, "Hey, piece of shit, give me my stuff back!"
Well, that's.
And then Dewey would come by and he'd be like, "Hey, everybody, shut the fuck up! Just shut up already, all right? Now stop it, or I'm killing all of you." I mean, it was like 12 little 5-year-olds.
Yes.
It's amazing. Like these guys, they fight amongst themselves so much because they don't have any like coordination. Like it's hilarious for us because like we're all using Mumble, right? So like our bases or whatever, our guys never talk on proximity chat, and like the people we're fighting, like. You just hear their infighting, you hear their screaming, you hear them screech, like you hear their little creepy kid voices, like it's nuts out there.
What's crazy is they actually do have out of game comms, like these groups that we're talking about, like in this one in particular, they have a TeamSpeak that they use, but they talk all over proximity.
Still talk local,
yeah, they do.
I should answer that phone call.
They just totally give it away, like I don't like.
No, but not all the groups we're fighting are as fun.
You know why? Because they tell them to get in their TeamSpeak, and then they just simply respond, "Well, I'm not allowed to download any programs without my mom being home, so I can't get on your TeamSpeak right now."
Okay.
You can't make this shit up. I mean, that's one of the weirdest things about like going into this game. Like our guys don't really know their way around FPSing. Some of them do. Like a guy who's like good at FPSs, like Boat or Laz or Joe can like.
Oh, I'm terrible.
Like, well,
I'm the first to say it. No, I can't hit a guy with a gun to save my life.
I think we have two or three good shooters.
Boat's the guy that goes, "Hey, you 5 guys, go in the room, go in the house, clear it out, and then let me know when everyone's dead. I'm right behind you."
Yes.
And nobody touched the loot. No one touched the fucking loot.
We were after we made the video that Vince was talking about shooting the naked guy, like all of us naked people executing that guy.
Naked men in underwear, specifically.
Yes. Like the 10 of us
naked men, everybody.
Yes, the 10 of us got naked again, and we ventured into a town. And the server we were on was a low enough population that there was a lot of zombies spawning. And by the time we got to town, it was nightfall, and over 150 zombies were chasing our naked men around. And you could just, we would turn around, and you'd see one goon running naked in the distance with like a trail of zombies behind him. And everyone just screaming, wondering what the hell we're going to do. Like, we darted into a church. But there's punji sticks everywhere. We're shutting the door. And then some random goon's like, oh, fuck, I'm stuck outside, and opens the door. And all the zombies start pouring in. So we had to jump out the church.
What, honestly, like, hearing Boat, like, I'm used to him in the Eve, and hearing him tell these stories, I think Boat could make filling up your gas tank in your car sound exciting. Like, but just describe filling up your tank for me.
It's the physical comedy. Like in internet space, like there's no gesturing, but like you give Boat a game where like people can wander around and take their clothes off as naked men and like, you know, shoot people with bows or something. I don't even know.
That's just on normal servers, right? But then we went on to we were doing battle royales as a group right before the wipe, and we happened to get 5 police cars.
Oh god. I saw this.
Somehow we had every police car spawn next to us.
Is there that many in the game? I thought there were like
there's only 5 on the map.
5 on the entire
so we
map.
had all 5 spawn within a grabbable range, and a Jeep goes driving by. So we flipped on the sirens. Now we're all naked guns and police cars. We somehow managed, while chasing this guy around for 10 minutes like Benny Hill, to lose all 5 police cars and kill 9 of ourselves. He still lived. Like, he got in his Jeep and walked away. And all we did was blare the police sirens, and like Gold Snake and myself kept screaming, we're the Imperium Police Department, pull over now, while you see a police car just flip across the screen.
We have I watched the video of this, and I think we're gonna clean it up and put it on the website or something. But it's nuts because like you have these goons like running around, and it's not just goons, it's everybody in the Imperium, and it's just a shit show. I mean, like the reason like the Prox chat is hilarious because you have all these like serious business like FPS like Call of Duty like testosterone addicts or something. And they're like, you know, oh, we killed you, and like none of us give a fuck. But meanwhile, you've got like us being idiots with 5 cop cars, and while you're watching this video, once it actually goes up, you'll see like these cars just fly through the air.
The physics on these cars is ridiculous.
And like, well, not this isn't a physics excuse. This is just us being bad. Like, oh, whoops, I flipped. Like, get out of your car because it's upside down. It's gonna blow up. It's just a disaster. It's
the way I've taken to playing H1Z1 is whenever we're getting raided or have to do anything, I send everyone out in front of me with nothing but bows and their underwear, and then I sit back and shoot the people with guns.
You just use them as fodder for like the 3 people. We have like a designated leader, like a good manager on each base. So like there's the charismatic guy who says, you go here and I know how to delegate. You have the builders who are like the logi guys who can actually like build bases and stuff. And then you have like the shooters who are people like Laz or Aerith who can actually like do things. And everybody else is basically just cannon fodder. Yeah. Like you guys
I've got a recording of 20 goons rushing 5 guys with shotguns, and literally all 20 die besides I think 2. All 20 die besides 2, and I have to sit in the back and start popping the guys as they.
Oh god, we had this horrible idea yesterday where we were on Alistair, which is like the main Imperium base right now, and our guys were kind of bored at the moment because we have taken over by using tampers. So we basically like blocked out this entire G6 dam area where nobody can get near us without getting sniped from a mile away because we just denied base building to everybody else because we're dicks and that's what we do. So it's almost like our own little private PvE server around the dam where we get all the spawns and we can run around and kill people. So we're like, okay, let's go fuck with people. So somebody's like, let's get some airdrops. Yeah, so an airdrop comes in, an entire torrent of goons are just running across the landscape in a completely unorganized way in their blue shirts and like blue helmets and everything else. And we get there and it's like a shitty airdrop. It's like the builder one, which we just don't need. And so we're like, oh, it's a builder one.
And a whole bunch of zombies come. Excited about it.
Exactly. A bunch of zombies start coming in, and you know we're like fighting the zombies or whatever, and then like 2 random puppies show up with shotguns and literally kill 9 of us before anybody has an idea what's going on. Everyone dies, total wipeout, and we're just like, wow.
I'm literally en route as this is going on, and they take off, and I called in the airdrop, and I was in the FC room just getting ready, and Mittens is like, oh, cool, an airdrop? I've never actually seen one done. well, let's go. And everyone's like, all right, let's rally. Let's go. They take off. I'm like, yeah, just go get it. I'll be right there. I'm en route crossing a field, and you just hear these guys, hey, we got contact. We got contact. I'm down. I'm down. Oh, shit. I think we're all dead. I think we're all dead.
It is amazing how awful we are. But I mean, the thing is that like, just kind of like in Eve, like they, our opposition usually seems to think that like because they managed to kill a guy, it matters, but we can resupply so quickly because we sort of control the strategic real estate. So like it doesn't really matter because you're just like, okay, well I died, well I respawn here, go back, now I've got full equipment again, and it doesn't matter whether I suck or not because we still have all the best territory. So
yeah, I think it's going to get even worse for like the random people too when they introduce like a corporate alliance type or even a what do they call clan system. So where you can tell the difference between your guys and them.
You can actually see from a distance who our guys are
like
and who isn't.
Like we had this the other day. The puppy group of pedophile master Meyer.
They
have like 8 or 9.
We don't know him to be a pedophile. He might just be.
Oh, okay, but
we can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry. But anyway, so
he's never convicted, buddy. Okay.
So remember when I said
he just hangs out with a lot of children who call him grandpa.
Well, Mittens, you remember what I said at the beginning of the show about when our Twitch account gets banned in the next week or so? I mean, here it is, right here. It's first show.
You know what? So ever since I met Laz, the one thing he only worries about is the Twitch account getting banned. Ever from the beginning.
It's kind of my livelihood right now, bro.
So anyway, so they're about to charge out their base. There's like 10 of them. We're watching their stream. We have a guy with them. We had 20 naked guys with bows and arrows.
As one does.
In one like warehouse. And then the 20 of us in the base. But the problem is when the 20 naked guys came running out after the 10 of them, and then we came running out, it was just utter chaos. And then they stepped on a landmine.
Wow.
The landmine trolling is amazing. Oh, God.
Well,
like, we started posting like in front of people, like if they run into a shack or something like that, we'll like run up there and put a landmine right in front of it, and then just like walk away and wait. And they open the door of the shack, step out, die, so and then the doors open. And you just go in there and you take all their shit because they didn't look down. Like
landmines are even better when you put them in choke because they're better than punji sticks if you have the ability to do it yourself, and you know that goons aren't going to walk through there. Because the way the dam is set up, there's like this little choke point, this little skinny walkway where you could drop 5 or 6 of those in a row and just one after the other as they step on them. It's wonderful.
Oh, my. Well, so we should actually, like, instead of just telling stories about, like, people who are grandfathers in H1Z1 who have very loud children and are totally not creepy at all.
I thought you were about to pull a boat there. I was cringing, waiting for you to say something. I was like, oh.
Totally creepy, but in in any way that we are alleging any sort of foul play. It's just it's just a lifestyle.
I'm not saying in real life he is. I'm just saying in the game he plays that role. Okay,
and
sorry.
He's just role playing. He's just
role playing. They creepy man.
The kids aren't that guy. Kids, they're just guys with voice changers.
Exactly. They're older women.
Yeah, well, so far it's a Manson family playing opportunity. We need to respect their immersion.
So far in H1Z1, one of the things that the Imperium really brings from EVE Online is our ability to learn and adapt, which is kind of what made us successful in EVE. And
which is a fancy way of saying that we suck, but there's a lot of us, so we learn from our mistakes quickly.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Well, I mean, we've. If you look at us, what 5 weeks ago was when we started this.
May 1st, yeah.
May 1st,
actually,
yeah. So
about days before May 1st was.
So about 4 weeks ago. About 4 weeks ago is when we started this, and every single week we're finding out more and more. Like right now, we're able to gather enough fertilizer and ammo to raid a base like in a few hours. We went into one of our farm bases, is what we call them, and we looted 500 rounds of ammo and like 170 fertilizer. So it was. As we learn more and more of these little niche things about the game, we're going to be able to spread out and keep hitting more and more stuff. And so we're going to spread our love to everyone across these servers.
Well, I mean, I think that basically this is, if we're going to segue into real talk, I should probably, since this is our first show and we have people tuning in from the H1Z1 community that have never seen or heard of us before, we should probably, I'll give a quick recap of what we've done and those initial missteps that we took and the first couple days that we got in. So like EVE Online spaceship game, it doesn't really matter when we're talking about going to H1Z1, but we have a very large organization of people. So we go to H1Z1, and the first couple of days is just our guys like tripping over each other, like going, oh God, I'm starving. What do I do? Like, what's a BlackBerry? Where do I go? How do I even like use the UI? And meanwhile, it was kind of a really challenging thing because the first day or so, actually the first week, there was a bug that related specifically to how many zombies were around you. And zombies spawned more if you had more players around you. So our little Imperium groups of like 30 guys or more on each server would just get crippled. We'd have to like delete our characters, remake them, blah, blah, blah. It was called the loading bug. So you're just staring at the axe as you're trying to log in. It was awful. They got that fixed, which is great. But in those first couple of days, like we're running around, we have no way to do identification friend or foe. So like before we figured out our little secrets, which we're not going to be talking about on the show, but like before we figured out, our call signs and our special sauce and blah blah blah, you just have people running into each other. Most of the goons are getting killed by our own guys.
That still happens. No, we haven't fixed that at all.
Yeah, but usually we don't have 30 guys in a little group to get blown up all at once. It's usually just
Laz is worse.
Accidental murder.
Laz will scream, I just killed 5 of them, and then 4 people go, I died.
No.
It's amazing how quickly one of us can die. And everybody's like, is that a hacker? No, wait, we're just really bad at FPSs.
Yeah.
So
though hackers are a problem with this game.
Oh, that is very true, and we'll get to that in a minute. But like what was interesting is like, so at first we attacked a high pop server, and we just had so many dudes that we lagged the server itself, and we ran into queues. So then we sort of split out and tested out outposts on each of the different medium population servers. We had up to about 10 to 15 different outposts on 10 to 15 different medium pop servers. By the time that we went through this, our base builders had designed like an optimal outpost design. Inside of like a week, we had a standardized outpost, which we then began copying and pasting. Then we did the dick sticking thing where we put like punji sticks all over everything. Then they nerfed punji sticks such that we couldn't do that anymore. And this most recent wipe where we are today, we determined that G6 was the best location for our guys. We took over the G6 territory on all 6 of the high pop servers. We've consolidated to 1 server at the moment, but all of the territory on those high pop servers are tamped and basically covered in fortresses that the Imperium has created. So it's kind of hard to have a base anywhere around G6 on a high pop server in H1Z1 because we're dicks. And that's how we are today, is being dicks primarily on Alistair at the moment, but we're sort of refining our techniques every day.
I was accused of being too much of a dick last week.
Is it possible to be too much of a dick?
I don't know.
I don't think it's possible to be too much. But
it was something about how I made them feel more like shit after they were dead than before I killed them.
Were you teabagging people again?
Yeah, I was cussing them out in Spanish again.
That's excellent.
Yeah,
but the hacker thing is definitely a problem in the game. I mean, if we're going to be real about it, it seems like it's gotten a lot better.
It's getting better.
Massive ban wave recently, and they seem to. The big thing is that people don't know about how to report them because there's a specific email like. What is it? Is it
it's
cheater?
H1Z1 cheaters.
H1Z1 cheater, no S, I think, at Daybreak Games.
Yeah, H1Z1 cheater at daybreakgames.com.
The good thing is we have so many guys in our group that record on OBS. So, the best way of getting someone banned almost the next day is simply having video feed. And that's really what we've been doing lately is just, as they've been cheating, we're not only reporting their death, but then recording them glitching through walls and running a mile in like 3 seconds. So those get sent over and those guys get banned instantly.
Well, and everyone should be doing that. If you have the capability of recording, which if you have OBS you can record and it's not system intensive, you should record your gameplay.
You don't have to be running a stream to record. You can use OBS, which is free software that you use to stream, but you save a local copy of everything, and that way if you encounter a cheater, then you have a record, and then you can just package that up, send it in, and they get fucked.
Yep, and the report death function.
They also did a really good job of putting in the thing where you cannot open chests if you like hack into a door.
Oh, the no clipping change. Yeah, no, that was
yeah.
Basically, previously speaking, a couple weeks ago, they had a thing where they made it that if you use a no-clip hack to actually get inside of somebody's base or something like that, then you are unable to open any chests or do anything at all. Which was hilarious in one case because I think that one of our guys like trapped somebody in a shed he wasn't supposed to be in and then just kept him there because he couldn't find a way to hack himself out. Like he glitched himself into the base. He couldn't open any containers or do anything, and then like we just locked the door on him and he was stuck. So that was good.
Yeah, no, the hacker thing's better. They still have a long way to go, but the big thing is they're working on it, and you can see the results of their progress. But,
yeah, we only encounter a hacker, like previously speaking, when we first started playing, they were, you know, there was an epidemic, but then they had this ban wave where I think they got rid of like 25 or 30,000 hackers all at one whack, and then since then, I mean, to be fair, they got rid of ESP, which was like the big hack where you can see where everything is, or at least they started banning people for it. And then now they have zombie vision, which is hilarious. Why don't we talk about zombie vision? Because that's like one of the biggest like nifty things that they've added.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about that, Laz?
I won't check that. God damn!
Like the last night of zombie vision.
Wow.
I'm done.
Let's. He's just like, I'm out. That's amazing. You just trolled Laz off the show. That's excellent.
Well, I didn't say for him to talk about it. He's the expert.
Yeah.
I spent an hour on PvE server. I couldn't figure out how to do it.
So from some screenshots that I've seen, the way you get zombie vision, which this is an exploit by the way, you shouldn't do this, is you go into a PvE server or a regular server and you infect yourself with the zombie virus, and then once you're infected with the zombie virus, you wait for it to hit 51%, and once it hit 51%, you log out and then log into your regular PvP server, and then you now can see players glowing in red.
Well, the red glowing thing is actually kind of interesting all the way around, because you basically have the ability to see like player trails. You can see inside of bases. Which
you
is
can't
like
see the player trails because that's like 81%.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but you can see the outlines in the at max render distance where you don't see the walls and stuff like you're talking about. You can see straight through bases and see through warehouses and buildings.
Somebody posted a 2-minute video on YouTube, and it is literally like, it's amazing. I mean, you can take one guy with you on a loot run, and he'll tell you exactly where everyone's at, when they're coming, when to run away.
So there's no risk of getting surprised by hostiles.
Exactly.
You can see them a zillion miles away.
Absolutely.
Zombie vision.
Yeah.
It's interesting in terms of just like seeing when you're going to be raiding a base. You can tell, like that's what we did last night. I think it was when we were raiding a base on Alistair next door to us. Is like, oh yeah, well there's nobody in this base. Oh, let's not hit that base because there's like 10 guys in there and we can just see. So it adds a degree of like recon and espionage. I think that is that's a lot of interest.
Yeah, and I think for us, you know, because we have so many people out in a base and we just have strict numbers, and you know, yeah, we don't have a lot of FPS players, but you know, at the end of the day, we got 40 guys and there's 3 of them. So
you have your one designated like infected zombie guy just as like a walking piece of radar.
Well, it's forcing the smaller groups to, you know, find all the exploits, get all the cheats, get all the hacks, because that's literally the only way they can beat us. So in order for us to beat them, we got to know what they are too and know how to fight back on them, because you know, we have had guys take out 10, 12 of our guys, and then all of a sudden we have 5 of our newbie players trapped in a base.
Well, like Minz was just saying, is because of the zombie vision exploit, we've had people use it and realize how strong it actually is to have as a player, and now we started gathering the materials to be able to permanently keep someone alive with that buff whenever we're going. Well,
I'm not clear on this, because like the zombie vision is actually a feature. That's not an exploit, right?
It's a feature.
You infect yourself up, and as long as you have more than 51% or whatever, you get zombie vision, and that's like the thing. So you can have basically like a sacrificial guy on a character who has barely any weapons or anything, nothing really geared, and just like you're going to be the infected guy for this raid. Like, oh, I have the virus now, I see everything, then I die, right?
Yeah, or you can either do that, or you can actually infect one of your shooters and have him sit back, but give him all the supplies he needs to keep himself alive, and keep like antibiotics and everything.
So yeah, like you give yourself antibiotics and vitamins and shit like that, and like so it's sort of like a kind of like a meter game where you're like trying to the exploit and raise the.
You just try to control the percentage, and it's like keep it between a certain.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because it is kind of like a, you know, just an automatic telepathy. I think it's neat. Like I really like the way in which they're adding sort of more of. I don't want to say sci-fi. I guess zombies are horror, not sci-fi. But like having kind of a supernatural angle to the game, I think is.
Well, I think the exploit comes in when people have it permanently. And they don't die. or at least
Yeah, like
they have
you should suffer a risk and die. Like if you're gonna do it and be able to help your group, you need to, there needs to be consequence. It's a risk reward balance.
That's where the exploit is, because what you do is you infect yourself on a different server where you have all the downsides of it, which is like the draining energy and draining hydration, all that, which is part of the downside. But then when you log into a different server and still have it, is you lose all of the downsides, and you have just nothing but the zombie vision. Is the exploit side of it.
Gotcha.
So you can go like on a PvE server, infect yourself.
Yep.
And then proceed onto a PvP server and never have the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, you have the zombie vision without any of the zombie effects of dying. So,
let's see.
As long as somebody doesn't kill you.
Espionage. So in EVE, we have quite a large spy organization, and I believe we brought some of that to our H1Z1 play. And I think Space Mexican probably best to talk about some of his exploits.
Schmoozing and making friends, and all right, Space Mexican, you're on the spot. Let's hear it.
I offer them margaritas and I spike it.
Wow.
And here I thought I was bad for some of the comments I made. Jeez.
Oh my god, we're so dead. We're so.
So guys, tomorrow we'll be broadcasting from TMCV TV2
it's only
on
bad
Twitch.
when someone else is not Hispanic and they say it. That's when it's bad. Okay. It's like if you're Irish, making fun of Irish people. It's okay.
Racism either way.
So I have a group of people that I work with, and they create false characters and they run around befriending opposing groups within the servers to get intel. It's beyond just we have a group of guys that they actually go out and they'll just spend hours and hours and hours basically playing EVE online while laying down in an area and watching people's bases to give us intel when people are there, when they're not, how many people are there, and so on and so forth, so we can destroy their base and take their loot. This is beyond that, where you're pretty much, from what I know as EVE is getting within a group and getting extreme intel that's sensitive and that can destroy a whole base. The biggest thing is loot location. So these guys get into their bases and they find out how many shacks they have, where they keep their most valuable loot, so that when our guys go in, they know where to hit them and where to hit them fast and hard, so that they can just get in, get the loot, and get out. Because some of these other groups we're playing, they do have, hackers. We've seen them hack our bases before. We've seen them take out 20 of our guys in less than 5 minutes. So some of these people are essential to fighting some of these groups. But one of the biggest player base that we have in Alistair is the MP group. They probably, I would say, besides them and KG, MP is the ones we identified that had hackers in their groups. They've hacked us before. We simply just come back, rebuild, and go at them again. But at this point, we don't know how far it's going to go with the MP group. I am pretty much waiting for people like Laz and other higher FCs like Boat to say we're ready to go and just completely burn down their whole city and take everything. It's kind of, we control them without them knowing we're controlling them, which is pretty fucked up.
Well, we did hit one of their bases last night. I think we sold 600 to 700 rounds out of their base last night.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
they actually brought a foundation deck behind our gypsy camp, and they set it up. They put I don't know why they put like 600 rounds of ammo in it in different various rooms, and they left. I don't know if it was like a peace offering or what it was, but we just completely blew up the base and took everything. Later on, I figured out it wasn't a peace offering because they hit us last night, so they're pretty pissed. But yeah, I mean, this was the group originally that was irritated at us because when the server wipe happened, we took all the TAMP locations at the dam.
That's right. It was their dam and their.
Yeah. The MP stood for
Misty Peak.
Misty Peak Dam. So,
so now it means I don't know what it means.
Now they're MP clan not living on the actual Misty Peak Dam.
Gotcha.
Right.
Wow.
So I mean, as far as espionage goes, that's the only real group we've infiltrated. We're working on other groups within Pleasant Valley.
Yeah,
because
the GIA from Eve in general is, when Eve is quiet and there's not too much to report on in terms of spies, a lot of our spies have shifted over into H1Z1. It's just sort of like, they're oddly similar in a lot of ways in terms of the sandbox and the meta gameplay. What I really wish that it would be nice to have in the game is, because like that you have binoculars in the game, it would be nice to have like a long range like boom microphone or something in the game itself, because it would be nice to be able to sit on a hill 100 yards away from somebody's base and be able to sort of plug in and listen through an in-game mechanism to the proximity chat inside of a base, because people in this game, they just talk on prox chat. They say, oh, this stuff is over in this room, like you're saying, like, oh, go here, this is where we keep this is where we keep that. I don't know, even just sneaking a guy up to the walls of a base that is inhabited and crouching them down out of sight, you just learn so much just by hanging around out there if you can get there and not die. And people will just tell you all their secrets. It's nuts.
So I'm looking at our list of talking points, and one of them is the list of updates coming up, and I know this update, the most recent one, they allow you to start shooting people out of vehicles, which I think is actually a super awesome update, because I played a battle royale and ended up killing 3 people inside their vehicles because they didn't read the patch notes.
I've been loving that update. You literally, because one of the tactics originally was if you get into a battle, jump in the car, because they can't kill you and they're going to risk blowing up their car. And people still have that mentality and they jump in. You just blow their heads off. It's like, well, thanks for sitting still for me.
So can you, like, how hard is it actually to shoot somebody through the window of a car? Like, if you spray it with an AR-15 on the windshield, do people just die? Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. The bullets tear straight through.
Yeah, but the
Wow.
it's more they're taking damage. So I've noticed the headshot isn't a headshot in a car, because I've headshot people and they just don't die, but they take the damage of the bullet. So you still got to shoot them a couple times.
Maybe you should just aim better.
You know what? That's why I put 30 rounds in my AR, because I pray and spray. That sounds so good.
Oh man.
Well, one of the things that's going to be interesting is that they have in not this patch, but in the next patch, it looks like they're adding Kevlar flak vests in the police station. So, like, I think we're going to actually finally have, because currently the armor that you can make, like the plated armor, wood-plated armor, and metal-plated wood armor, doesn't actually impact ballistics at all. It's just like melee protection of some kind. But if the PV police station is actually going to get a flak vest, then suddenly you have a situation where people are not only able to wear tactical helmets to protect against headshots, but have like legit Kevlar body armor. Well, it's going to be really curious how much that works.
The biggest problem right now is the shotguns is too powerful, and the Kevlar should be able to at least take some of the blast out of that, because people will just get dying instantly to shotguns, and even from medium ranges, the shotguns be able to do quite a bit of damage. I think I was fighting a guy yesterday who had a shotgun who did 97% damage in a single shot from 20 meters away.
You should do a better job of jumping around. And
I killed it. I killed him still, but
not even the Kevlar though. Like the metal plate. I mean, that should slow down a shotgun pellet at least a little bit,
Yeah, you'd think, but I don't think, like, in terms of the gameplay, I don't think it's actually coded in at all. I think it's just like melee protection. So, I mean, you would think if you're covering yourself with metal, like an Iron Man 1, right? Like, here's my metal suit. Like, it should be bouncing some bullets.
Well, apparently it helps with pistols, but not with anything bigger.
Right, and I mean, I mainly use the tactic of just bandaging up or stacking my med kits. That's why I always try to carry med kits, because, that's the reality is getting into a battle with more than, if it's 1-on-2, the reality is most likely you're gonna die. Just because you're at least going to take 40 to 60% damage in a fight.
So wait a minute, stacking medkits, are you saying that, like, before you get into a fight, you already have yourself, like, healing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they'll heal 60%. So I'll stack 2 or 3 of them, or even 1 for that matter, and at least you can kill one person, run away, hide, and you're healing while you're preparing to get into a fight again.
Right.
Because most people, I mean, they'll get 1 kill at best, and that's it, unless you're fast at moving.
You can do the same thing with bandages as well, but bandages don't heal as much.
Yeah.
So how many things can you stack? I thought that you could only have like 1 bandaging status at once. So you can literally just like stack heal over time.
You can
stack them. They don't heal twice as much. It's like queuing. You're queuing medkits.
Oh. Wait a second. So, like, how long does the medkit, like, last? Is it, like, 10 seconds or something? So if you put 2 on you...
The medkit lasts a long time because it's able to heal you pretty much all the way back to full.
medkits give you anywhere from 50 to 60%. It goes up, I think, 1 or 2 heals at a time or something like that.
Yeah.
So you just take 2 before you get into a fight, and that entire time you're fighting, you're just automatically healing. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I haven't spent. Somebody in chat is saying that stacking medkits is actually standard practice in battle royales, and I haven't spent much time in BRs because I'm more of a
it's standard for pretty much everything. If you should always carry 2 to 3 medkits on you, and that way, if you know you're about to get into a fight, especially a close range fight, you go ahead and use it because that few percentage will keep you alive if you get low HP.
Interesting.
Like I was just talking about the guy who knocked me down 3% in the first shot with a medkit ticking, heals you back up so you don't bleed out as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and to that point, that's one of the is the training on battle. I notice most of the guys we play with, you got your logistics people, you have your base building people, you have people that will go out and just gather sticks for 2 hours, because they're not that good at first person shooting or third person shooting, but they don't have the training. They just don't have the practice. And that's what we're trying to do by taking large groups of guys in Battle Royale and just forcing them to survive with firearms, because that's what it comes down to. Because even though they're not good, they're willing to get a shotgun, they're willing to pick up a handgun and go into battle with you, even though they know they're not. They'll be more of a taking bullets target.
A bullet sponge. Well, no, I mean, apparently that's the way to train. Is like if you're uncomfortable with the way in which the weaponry handles in H1Z1 from a sandbox perspective, is you just go and play like 15 or 20 BRs, and then by the end of it you come out. But I mean, we pretty quickly consolidated. We realized early that like hunting rifles are the way to go for people who don't really know how to FPS very well.
Well, and if you give 30 people a hunting rifle that does like 75% damage if you hit them in the body. And then out of those 30 people, at least 2 people can hit and get a kill.
Yeah, we use numbers, okay? Damn it, we're gonna load up 15 guys with 15 shotguns and give them 2 bullets each. And
eventually somebody will manage to go through and
something's gonna happen.
Wait, we probably should just adopt the tactic of the British and line up in a line and march down the road, because eventually we'd kill something.
Especially if everybody starts getting flak jackets. It's just like, okay, well, like, you've got a guy in front, you've got a guy behind him with it's a shame you can't like use bandages and like med kits on other people, because then you'd have like a shooter guy with armor in front and somebody
and someone behind him just healing him. That's so bad.
Well, we can do that with crossbows now. Crossbows have almost no drop. They take forever to reload, but if you've got like
I love the crossbows. I hate the fact that it takes forever to reload, because I ain't gonna lie, I've been stabbed to death trying to reload a fucking crossbow. But they do have range. They're good.
They break really easy
too. I mean, they're beautiful weapons. I really like the crossbows. I mean, they're just neat.
Well, and speaking of weapons, the patch on the June 2nd, the 44 Magnum is entering the game.
Yeah, it was funny because the 44 Magnum icon looks like a shotgun. And I was talking to one of the devs, and I said, "Why does the 44 Magnum look like a shotgun shell?" He's like, "Oh," he goes, the guy who generated those, he just got fucking lazy and didn't want to draw another image to put on there. So hopefully they'll change the image too.
I would assume so when they go to release it.
I'm curious to see what sort of impact that's going to have. Like, people don't really use pistols all that much compared to using, or at least in our crew. Like, we see people with 1911s a lot. But
the 1911 is actually a deadly gun if you can hit headshots. So basically, it's useless. It's useless for our group.
Any gun is good.
Yeah, like you shoot somebody in the head, they die, right? Like that's every gun is great if you manage to get a headshot. So.
Well, I'm impartial to it because like I prefer the 1911, not the 1911, sorry, the M9, because I can draw 15 rounds into a tight group. Here's your hashtags, tighten your shot group.
Tighten your shot group. Learn the right lessons from Eve.
Yeah. But the 44 Magnum, I mean, it's a rather large round, so I can imagine it's going to do quite a bit of body damage, which is going to be pretty important. Because the pistols now, they do reduce body damage compared to like an AR or a shotgun.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, somebody is asking here in chat, just as an aside, why did the IMP clan? I love the clan thing. We're a clan now, I guess.
Tag.
Abomination.
Clan tag.
Yeah,
Why
so
would
they no, I mean basically what happened on Abomination is we had on our tamping operation on Thursday of the wipe we went through, we hit 6 different servers the moment that the servers came up, and we didn't expect to succeed as well as we had. The idea was we would go to these servers and we would tamp all of these predetermined locations. All of the leaders had a map of where we were going to be tamping, not so much to claim our own bases but to deny things to other bases. The Abomination server was boat server, and there was one error in the tamping there. Like we missed one tamp and the enemies there built a base or what have you. But instead of doing what we probably should have done, which is just abandon Abomination because we had 5 other servers with perfect tamps, boat kind of settled in his roots and got busy there and sat around fighting them for weeks just because he could.
I got a ton of kills in that server, so I'm happy with the time.
It was really hot. Yeah. So, and then after that, we were like, okay, well, Alistair base is crazy and like has all these amazing setups that the guy Caraxus, who leads it, has created. Like the stuff on Alistair is just amazing in terms of traps, learning how to block off bridges and use buildings to basically deny territory to people. So we just moved everybody to Alistair to basically use it as a laboratory. So the next time there's a wipe, we'll be able to go in there instantly and go like, okay, here's what you build, here's where you build it, here are the traps you set up, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's why we are on Alaska.
I want to send a shout out because I mean Caraxus. There was a handful of guys, you know, and Laz knows more of them, but the main guy, I mean Caraxus. If it wasn't for him and the hours he put in, I mean there's no way it would be that successful.
There's just a bunch of ingenious things that he's done, and I don't want to really give away our secret sauce too much because some of it is just really crazy. Like we've figured out, or when I say we, what I really mean is Caraxus and his brain trust have figured out ways to build bases that aren't even really bases. They're just purely denial tools in terms of if you use this here with this geometry, this alley or this street or this pathway are completely inaccessible to anybody, such that there's like literally like a maze of channels that people have to run through getting sniped. When otherwise, so you know, you always know when hostiles are coming, they have to go through a certain path. They're getting in a line of fire. There's no choice in that matter. It's just amazing to see.
Yeah, no, and I actually just posted a link to the highlight video of one of my killing sprees on on Abomination. That I just have to be streaming. It was awesome. But the thing on Alistair though is we went into Alistair knowing exactly what the enemies there where they were looking to take first, and that's where we started. And now that we know on the other high population server who lives where, we can actually go in there and start denying there on the next wipe as well. So the next wipe, everyone better look out because we're going to be back at it across multiple servers.
Yeah.
We'll do our best. I mean, the tough thing with the wipe is that you don't necessarily know when it's going to be. Like we had like 8 hours of notice in this first one to set up basically our first strat up, like an alarm clock off to get everybody in there. It was like 7:30 in the morning PST on a Thursday, right? So we only had, you know, there's only so many people who are awake and able to play at that time. I'm pretty happy with it though. I mean, we'll sort of go in and you seize the ground you can, and then we know immediately what to build for the next one. So I'm pretty pumped for the next wipe. It should be interesting to see.
Well, and we learned in just all the time we put into the game now, we've learned so much. Like I said, we can easily farm ammo and fertilizer and all that now.
Yeah.
So anything we want to really do in the game, we now have access to.
Yeah, and I love
the exact spawns is interesting.
Oh, by the way. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, please, sir.
That Pinky Girl 4, I think, is one of those people from Abomination that we were dealing with, Les.
Yeah, that's who was asking us as to whether we would be there or not. That's how I was answering that question. Yeah. It really is just one of the things that's curious to me about this game is like there hasn't been a consolidated source of information. Like it seems like there are certain spawns on the map that are fixed that have higher loot tables in terms of like whatever the RNG spits out. So like there's certain areas where there's always going to be a shotgun spawn. There's always going to be this, that, or the other thing. And you'd really think that there would be like a list that somebody's made. Maybe they change them between patches or not. But one of the things that's really helped us is that we have now sort of scouted out and found like, oh, this is the place where you get all of the fertilizer. This is where you get all of the ammo compared to all these other spawns. So instead of like randomly scavenging, we just like send guys who like go check here, check there. There you go. Hoover it all up, stash it on a mule, and log it off.
Yeah, well, and Caraxus and he set up with a bunch of guys bases located on the exterior of the map and some on the interior where we're just farming. I went on a run with Laz and Craxus and Johnny yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna go pick up some stuff," and I thought they were just gonna go, pick up whatever 40, 50 fertilizers, and literally it was a shack that just had like so much crate and so much loot that one guy was working for 3 days just farming. It was fucking amazing. I applauded him, and we're learning on Alistair how to overcome and how to work the system properly, so we can be prepared for big raids whenever we want them to happen.
I'm pumped. It's pretty exciting. Well, actually, speaking of being pumped, this is an opportunity for us to go ahead and remind people that we do have a whole bunch of free giveaways related to H1Z1. Not only are we giving away games, not only do we give away things like Razer Navu X's, NVIDIA Shields, blah, 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 we have a whole bunch of themed items related to our website, which you can see. I'll link them in chat. Previously speaking, when we first, actually for the first couple of weeks in this game, these items were broken, and they would not actually, you would add a skin and it would reduce the durability of the item. They are no longer bugged. So we've got a tactical helmet skin, we've got a machete skin, and we've got a t-shirt skin, and they are all free. All you have to do is sign up on our website, where you can also get like free mumble, free jabber, all of this cool shit. So check it out. I linked it in chat if you're interested. And you're welcome to come put on one of our shirts to try to look like you're in uniform and try to infiltrate our organization. But we are probably wearing blue that day or wearing something else. You never know. But it might give us pause for half a second.
I'm glad.
Shoot you.
Go ahead.
I'm glad they finally fixed the helmet, because the helmet's really useful in Battle Royale. Instead of sticking out with a bright blue helmet, you can use the tan TMC helmet.
That's a good point, yeah, because the blue UN helmet really sticks out like a sore thumb, as opposed to the TMC skin tack helmet is actually kind of like a nice tan that blends in with the environment more.
Well, and I love the fact that we change our dress code all the time, because we'll get people that'll come in and they're just KOS instantly. I mean, it's like coming in with a big red T-shirt, which sorry to say,
or maybe a tie-dye
red shirt's always KOS.
Red shirt, red helmet, or you were trying to follow along. You were trying to follow us when we were doing that base raid yesterday, Joe, and you were wearing a tie-dye shirt. And we had to repeatedly tell people no, don't kill him, because
So I wore a tie-dye. We went on a raid yesterday, and there was 25 of us, and there was a tie-dye shirt, and I forgot who found it, but we kept it in the FC room because it was so rare. No one's ever seen it. So we kept it, and I put it on because I was the camera guy with OBS. So I ran over there, and I forgot to follow our own instructions of identifying when you're coming up, and didn't even think the fact that I had the tie-dye shirt. And one of our guys literally shot me, and I dropped down to 20%, and I started jumping around. And I got there, and everyone's like, dude, take that fucking thing off. We're going to shoot you. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be the only guy with the tie-dye shirt. That's pretty bad if you shoot me.
Well, I mean, that's one of our biggest problems in this game since the start, is being able to tell who's friendly, who's not. And until they come up with a way to figure that out, it's going to keep happening. We've been massacred by people wearing our same clothing that we're wearing that day, and they'll just walk up and just start mowing down goons, and just everyone dead all over the place. And we're like, why are friendly shooting us on comms? And we're like, no, that's not friendly. you should shoot back. That's the thing.
Or you come around the corner and there's a guy with the uniform, and you don't think of talking to him, and and you're like, oh, hey, what's up? And bam, he shoots you in the head with a shotgun.
Yeah. That's happened. That's happened many times. Yeah.
But no,
it's hey, follow me, dudes, and it's two bad guys following me. It's not.
Well, I think one of the ideas that our guy, I think Aerith might have came up with, or one of the Imperium guys came up with this, was they're actually releasing walkie-talkies this coming patch. But what if there was a item you could put inside your base, like a radio antenna or something, and then anyone who was carrying around the walkie-talkie with the right frequency for your radio tower would show up for you as a friendly, and that way you have to carry this radio on you to be known as a friendly from a distance. But if you died, and then a hostile could pick up that radio, and then he would be identified as a friendly. That way you don't completely lose the aspect of infiltration.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought it was a really good idea.
Not to change the subject, I just want to say thanks, Fuzzy of SA, for subscribing. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the support.
Sweet.
Excellent. Yes. Now you have a fancy little icon by your name.
Oh dear.
I forget this is a new scene. I don't have the Hypno Kitten on this new scene.
Oh, you
I
don't?
bad.
Okay, well, just imagine that there's a Hypno Kitten like,
Yes.
going up there.
Hypno Kitten.
So, I mean, we had actually somebody was pointing out in chat, asking about the durability of the TMC items. The durability on all of them is fixed, like the items are fine. But somebody is reporting that the machete does not actually melt down if you throw it in a furnace, which I will check out. And if that's true, we'll report that and try to get that fixed. So, thank you for the update. And you know, it's an alpha game, so sometimes things don't work. But these things have been fixed really rapidly. Like one of the things that's impressed me is like the developers, like every single week, there's a ton of new content that's adjusted or tweaked in some sort of way. It's not like we're waiting for months and months for things to get fixed.
Or something's already fixed. You got to wait for like a update like a month from now.
That's because back in the day, we didn't see the game before this part. We saw the game when it was released. So this alpha concept lately has been so crazy because you're seeing games that aren't working, like they're halfway finished games, and then everyone's like, "Man, this is terrible. I'm not playing this game anymore." And it's like, well, of course.
You have somebody in the audience over there, Boat.
My nephew.
That's his supervisor. That's the adult in the room.
You know what's funny? My nephew just walked in the room, and I muted my mic, and I'm like, "Get out of this room right now! Just get out. Go away." They're like, "Oh, dude, Uncle Joe's pissed." Hey, so some of the guys are bringing up. Are we following the talking points at this? Going down the list.
Are we following talking points? Because like we initially speaking wrote down what we were going to be talking about.
We've gone from like
we
two.
We started telling stories about alleged pedophiles.
I think we've gone from like one
me.
to 6 to 5 to 4, I think, and then to 8 or something.
So at this point, everybody's been asking about Thunderdome, and I don't know if Boat or Mittens, if you know what the Thunderdome is. It was an idea. What?
Who run Bartertown? Yeah, I know what a fucking Thunderdome is.
We're from Eve.
I mean, 1,000-person Thunderdome at Eve. So just before this show, which blew up probably like $50,000 worth of space box.
So a couple of the guys, we started gathering just random puppies and bringing them into one of our bases that had nothing in it. And our original idea was just to handcuff them, bring them in, and 30 guys would just beat the shit out of them with our fist. We later found out that that's not any way to make friends. So we're extending our the friendship hand and bringing people in. We're bringing just random puppies in, letting them fight us, and then if they win, they get some type of prize, and without us shooting them, because a couple of guys felt like they just wanted to shoot them as they.
That is amazing.
With their
I would always take it a step further. I would tell them to stand still, put their hands up, just so I can walk behind them.
Well, and this originally started with me and another, and I think it was Cabal. I wagered some ISK to fight him, to fist fight him. So everybody gathered in the base, and we fist fought, and finally, and someone cheated because it was like, I think someone had like 200 million ISK on me and like 100 million ISK on Cabal, and someone got pissed because they thought Cabal was going to die and they shot me. So we didn't do anything after that. But yeah, they're trying to extend just open friendship and alliances amongst puppies.
We've started doing that with at least on the Alistair base. Like we've had a few people who've said that they want to join us or they want to hang out with us, and so like we don't necessarily let them in the main base, but we're sort of doing kind of like an Eve, like a testing system where we're like, okay, well, you know, if you're cool enough, we'll like, you know, you can build a private shack out behind one of our main bases, and we just make a note of it, and if you turn into being a douche and after a couple weeks you don't steal everything after a few wives, so we can like just sort of bring you in and you're vetted.
Well, you know, I was a little resistant to that idea, only because I've done it with other bases and I've seen how people are complete idiots and just after a couple weeks, like, yeah, he's cool, he's been playing with us, just give him the freaking base codes, and then bam, something happens.
And that's why we have mules. Exactly.
So, you know, I really am wanting to start creating alliances within Alistair. And even if it's a bunch of puppies, you know, give them a freaking base and a foundation. And
well, I mean, we have.
Hey, you guys are over there. You know, you're not. They never let them in. Because I think there has to be a sense of security, because, you know, Laz is constantly getting drunk. And just getting out on the base the whole time.
I'm such a slosh. I'm
I
sorry.
know. It's terrible. I don't know how we get anything done with you. But no, it is interesting because like you see like in terms of like culture clashes, like coming from Eve and the sort of things that we do and we take for granted there in terms of basically like large scale civilization building, because like you have an organization of 40,000 people networked diplomatically with hundreds of thousands of other players and always kind of like engaging in things. And then I mean you kind of see that with the sort of FPS culture. Even in our Twitch chat right now, you have people talking about clans or, oh, here's a video of me raiding you or whatever, and stuff that we just don't give a shit about. Like, okay, we lost a base here, we rebuilt it, whatever. It's just that it's a really interesting culture clash because like you're dealing with groups of like 4 or 5 guys who are the hostiles, as opposed to dealing with just a vast organization. So we would probably like to set up and have diplomatic relations and sort of engage in the high level like metagaming and empire building shit that we do, but there's got to be somebody to diplomatically like interact with, like 3 guys running around and going like, oh well, let me tell you about my kill death ratio. Like there's that's just sort of a more primordial social unit, I guess you'd say.
Well, and we're starting to find out we're getting people approaching us directly that were part of opposing groups, and they were basically recruited by them. We forced opposing groups to go out and recruit just random puppies because they didn't have the numbers to beat us. They did so, but they don't have a good way of creating a fun environment to play in. A lot of them are straight, they're just assholes in the game and they're assholes out of the game.
Like I'm an asshole.
I resent that statement. I am not an asshole in real life, but I am an asshole in the game.
Boat's a sweetheart. Boat is actually a sweetheart.
The biggest assholes in video games are the biggest huggable brown bears out of the game. But anyway, so we're getting players that are approaching us saying, hey, I joined this group and they're just dicks. I don't want to play with them anymore. I want to extend a shaking hand, and it's hard to concentrate when Laz is breaking his freaking keyboard.
Poor Laz. No, I mean, see, this is the thing. Is like the whole like you had a hacker. I killed you this time. Well, no, I killed you that time.
Right.
It's interesting because like it reminds me of Eve in 2003, 2004. Because like we're just like I don't give a fuck about who killed who because I care about controlling the territory and the resources and the power and the influence. Right. Like that's what matters. Is not whether you like won some sort of honor fight with a guy and you got 5 kills and he only killed you 4 times. What matters is that when you respawn, you can equip an entire army from either mule accounts or just your stores and stockpiles, and just get your guys back in the fight to do whatever the fuck they want whenever they want. And it doesn't matter if your enemies have higher skill than you. It doesn't matter how honorable they are. It doesn't matter how whatever, because they're just going to get mowed down ultimately.
Well,
the bottom line is all that matters with us. It's all that has ever mattered with us because that's how you survive in Eve.
Yep.
And it's the same thing in H1Z1. We have so many guys that we literally got raided one night. We lost 1,000 rounds of ammo, and we're already back past 1,000 rounds of ammo the day after that. We have all of our ammo back, and it takes us like an hour to get tons of building materials. So getting raided is not a big deal for us. And an important note
if you control the territory, because you can just get all the respawns, right?
Exactly.
Right.
As long as, like you said, we have those key tamps, and we can hold those areas with the key tamps that we've designated. But let me give a quick shout out to our website. We're doing a $50 Steam gift card giveaway for the best H1Z1 screenshot. You can go to themittani.com and find out more about it. I think there's only a couple days left of that, so make sure you go there and enter for the chance to win. And you have to send that on Twitter at themittani.com is our Twitter, or on the website there's a link for the email.
Oh, that reminds me, actually, I should probably point out that we are hiring new contributors, and I'll post this link in Twitch. How long have we been doing this for? An hour now?
Yep, that's why I'm rounding us down.
Hey, you know what? I thought someone told me earlier. I don't see how this thing's gonna last 20 minutes.
Hey, one last thing.
Can we do that? Do we should do this for 30 minutes? Like, I don't know.
One more thing. Someone wants me to remind everyone that we forgot to talk about the new changes to hardcore battle royales.
Yeah.
Just huge changes.
Yeah. Yes, minus the bears. So I'll let Boat talk about that since he loves playing it so much.
Yeah, so me and Kiko have been playing it lately, but
nice.
What they do is instead of spawning you randomly around, you actually spawn all in the same spot and parachute down, and you can only go so far away. So you're talking about 100 dudes, all within probably a 50-meter radius, trying to get into the same houses, the same areas. All the doors have had, like, all the houses have had the doors removed, so you can just run straight in. There's no hiding.
Yeah.
And
so
there's
hardcore
bears,
VR is much
nighttime,
more
and
like Hunger
zombies.
Games.
Yes, there's zombies, there's bears. If you do manage to get it, like, usually the first 60, 70 people are dead before the gas is even coming out.
Yeah.
And then they took it a step further. Only one person wins.
Yeah.
Yep. One person wins.
Well,
the AR is limited. Shotguns are limited. It's mostly handguns. If you find an AR, you're like a lucky little fluff ball, because you're mainly concerned now. Like, I found myself rolling with an AR, a handgun, because there's handguns everywhere, and a crossbow, because at points you do get zombies aggroing on you. I mean, people die from zombies now.
Does anyone have any questions for the stream, guys? We're going to start rolling this thing down in the next 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, guys, go ahead and drop them in chat, and make sure you tag themittani.com. That way it shows up highlighted in black for us. Like I said, guys, about 5 more minutes.
If you're interested in writing for us also, we're hiring writers who can write literally about H1Z1. And when I say literally, I mean don't go, oh my god, I killed you, I ganked you, grr, my kill-death ratio or whatever. Like, you have to string sentences together like somebody who can use the English fucking language. If you're interested in that, you can check, there's a link that I posted there about how we're hiring new contributors. Send us a writing sample to submissions at themittani.com for both EVE, for H1Z1, and the other games that we cover and are interested in, things like World of Warships, Real Space News, book reviews, World of Tanks we do, PlanetSide, etc., etc. So check that out. And yeah.
Cabal wants to know, Mexican, if you could be any kind of tree, what kind of tree would you be? I would say a eucalyptus, maybe a palm tree.
Bonsai.
Bonsai tree.
I got nothing.
Big redwood.
So while you guys are at the website, make sure you go and get yourself a H1Z1 key that you can enter into the H1Z1 marketplace to get yourself the free skins, which is the machete, tactical helm, and Henley shirt skin.
Yeah, I suppose we should go ahead and end on that note in terms of all our giveaways. In the future, we're going to end up having more giveaways for the show. This is our first type of H1Z1 talk show. It's going to be a weekly thing. It'll be held on Sundays. We're going to get a fixed time. We did it today with kind of a floating time because we were doing it right after the big Thunderdome that we just had in EVE. But this is going to be a regular feature, and you should also look forward to seeing the boat show. Look forward or be prepared to cringe, which I'll probably be sitting there going, oh,
I can't wait till I guest star on that show. That's gonna be fucking hilarious.
I have no idea. Somebody's saying, like, where do we find out about writing for TMC? Just scroll up. I linked it in the chat. Okay, yes, like it's not rocket science. So there you go. All right, that's all I got. Are we gonna wind this up, Laz?
I think we're all set, guys. Thank you guys for the maiden voyage. It was a train wreck just like we thought it would be, and thank you for sharing it with us. It was good. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. Like I said, boat can make filling your gas tank exciting. So I think the boat show was going to really take off.
Boat fill my gas tank.
How do you make buying a piece of gum exciting?
All right, with that, guys, we're calling it a night. Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow, I think we have a streaming. You're streaming tomorrow night, aren't you, Kenjutsu? Or Space Mexican?
Yeah, I'll be streaming tomorrow night.
All right, so tomorrow night, Space Mexican streaming H1Z1, and then Newbie Tuesday on Tuesday, and then throughout the week we have more shows. Look at the bottom of the stream there. You'll be able to see all of our schedule there, and make sure you click the follow button. But with that, guys, we'll see you later.